Hello guys, this is Miroslava. I am the metaphysical chick, and I've been receiving, or today actually, I received, I was reminded of a vision that I had earlier in my twin flame journey. This actually happened before I met my twin flame, and it was a memory of Atlantis. And so I wanted to share this video because the information that is coming through is not for everyone, but I want to see if maybe one of you has similar experiences or resonates with this information, because it feels very deep and it's showing up now for a reason, and I just want to give this a voice. Okay. So I'm going to start by sharing just a vision a little bit, just to give you a little bit of context as to what these messages that I've been receiving today mean. And so again, this is about the twin flame connection, twin flame souls. And what it feels to me is that this is not for the entire collective, but for a group of the souls that are part of this collective. And so in 2016 or 2017, I was doing a meditation, and I had a vision. And in this vision, I was a woman and I was in Atlantis. And I felt that I was sort of a priestess and a healer during that time. And what I remember is that I was there with my twin. I was the feminine energy, of course. And so I was there, and I remember being in this huge temple or building, and I remember being in this room. It was a massive room, and there was this massive window, and out the window I could see mountains, and I could see what seemed to be a lake or a body of water. So there was water. And then I also remember we were in what seemed to be like a dining room, but it wasn't really, it was like massive. And there was this large table, very big, and there were other men in the room. And I do remember that all the men were talking, they were having a conversation. And what I remember, and this, every time I think about this, I feel it in my heart because it was so beautiful. But there was this man at the end of the table, and to me, he was like the leader, and he was there overseeing what the other men were doing. So, but anyway, so the men, everyone was talking, and they were like, I don't even know what they were talking about. Like, I wasn't paying attention. But the man at the end of the table, he wasn't paying attention either. He was looking at me. And so I do remember just staring into his eyes and seeing those beautiful eyes and being able to communicate with him telepathically and emotionally. It was like this beautiful heart bond, this soul bond with this other man, with this other human, or with this other Atlantean. And so it was just such a beautiful experience, and I remember feeling so much love for him, and then just him feeling the love that he had for me. He was ignoring the other men. He wasn't listening to what they were saying. He was looking at me, and I could see it in his eyes, and I could see it in his smile, in his energy, in his aura. And so that happened then, and then the vision moved to something else, or maybe it was a memory, and it moved to we were outside of a temple. And I remember everything was just so chaotic. Everyone was going crazy. There were spaceships, and the spaceships were arriving, and people or Atlanteans were jumping on the spaceships because we needed to leave. And I just remember looking at him and feeling so sad because I had to leave without him, and he had to stay behind because he was one of the leaders. And what I felt is that the masculine energy was a big part of the reason Atlantis was falling. And the masculine energy, those that were at the top and were sort of leading the people in Atlantis, they had to take responsibility for their actions, and they had to stay behind because they had to heal the karmic cycle that had opened. And so they were in a way trapped in that karmic cycle. And so I just remember looking at him and just feeling so sad, and just, it was very hard to say goodbye to him. And so I just remember we were looking at each other and we were talking, and I wanted to stay with him because why would I leave him? You know, if I love this person, I want to be with him, and I'm gonna be with you until the end. But he looked at me and he said that, you know, that wasn't for me to deal with, that I didn't have to be trapped like he was, because it wasn't my fault, that I didn't do anything. And so he really pushed me into just going into the spaceship, and I did, and we said goodbye, and it was very sad. And then as we were saying goodbye and just getting ready to go in each other's way, I remember we were looking at each other's eyes, and he said to me, until we meet again, because we were going to meet again, but it was gonna take a long while for that to happen. And so that when I got up from this vision and I opened my eyes, everything made so much sense, because I always felt this incredible sadness inside of me, like I missed someone. And even this lifetime being human, like I always felt that I was already in a relationship. Like I think that's why it was so hard for me to find a partner, because I already felt married. Like I felt that I was already in this relationship with this other soul. And, I mean, that of course was very unconscious, but now it really all makes sense. And after I started and I met my twin, it was just like, okay, it makes sense. But anyways, so I opened my eyes after having that vision, and it was just so much love, and I still see that man's eyes, like his beautiful face and his eyes, his blue eyes, and it's just like, okay, like it's all worth it, and we're gonna be there again. It's gonna happen. And then the year after, I think it was about a year after, that's when I met my twin. And when we looked at each other's eyes, I felt the same way that I felt with this man. And that's when I knew, okay, at first, of course, it was complete denial. But then as I, started working on myself and really connecting to the emotion, opening the heart, really started working on my third eye and the crown chakras, and really getting in touch with the emotions, with the feeling, with that intuitive knowing, psychic awareness, that's when it all really made sense. And I knew that this connection wasn't just human, if you know what I mean. So anyways, this morning I was reminded of this vision and the connection that a lot of twins have with Atlantis. And again, this is not going to resonate with everyone, because I do feel that it is a collective, or it is like a small group of souls within this collective that were there in Atlantis. Others perhaps were in Lemuria, or perhaps not even in this world, in other places around the universe and other universes. It's very expansive. It's not just about the Earth. Okay, so now I'm going to share a few of the things that I wrote down when I was receiving the messages. And it might be a little hard for me to read them because I was writing so fast, but just bear with me. So I wrote here, twin flames lived in divine union during the time of Atlantis. When the ancient continent fell, the feminine, or the being holding the feminine frequencies, left the continent and headed to other star systems. And like I mentioned, like I do remember seeing spaceships, and what I do remember as well is that when I was leaving the Earth, I did see us entering into another planet, or entering the atmosphere of another planet. And that planet was very similar to Earth. But what I remember also is that I was a Pleiadian being. So I do remember in the vision hearing a Pleiadian in Atlantis. So there was some connection with me and the Pleiades. And so I do feel that I left the Earth and went to the Pleiades. And that's where I did a lot of the healing after this just very traumatizing event. And so a lot of the Atlantis was very high consciousness, and so it wasn't like the Earth. that we are living in now. It is getting close though, like we are really rising. But back then it was just full on chakra system and it was very powerful. But yeah, and just to see everything crumbling and just it was very chaotic. So that was wild. And then I wrote here, the being holding the masculine energy had to stay behind due to the cycle of karma that opened. The masculine got caught up in this cycle and didn't fight that. He rose and took responsibility for his actions. The feminine eventually returned to the earth, but didn't really experience the same connection with her masculine because of the split in consciousness. The feminine returned to the earth not to live normal lives, but to anchor divine feminine frequencies into the earth. She had to learn how to be a conscious human. This is because she knew that the masculine would recognize her energy, but the split in consciousness would keep them apart. And when I was writing that, it was just like light bulbs going on in my head and like bells ringing, because it was like it makes sense. And I'm gonna share this, and again, it's my perspective, it's my experience. So what I personally feel for myself when I connect to past lives and try to see beyond the human experience or beyond this human lifetime, I never see myself having a normal life. I've had memories of being with his scenes during the time of Jesus. I have memories being trained in sex magic in the temples of ancient Egypt. I have memories again of Atlantis. I don't have memories of being just a normal human. And when I was doing a lot of like work and diving deep, the message that I received is that I haven't been here many lifetimes, and the only times I've been here has been to learn and to grow, to become more conscious, and to really anchor the divine frequencies in a way that the human is able to work with. So I do feel that most of my lives have been outside of the earth in the higher realms and working also in different galactic star systems, and also diving into the underworld to really experience that and get familiar with those lower vibrational frequencies. And so again, what I feel is that for some of us, we are so powerful, potent cauldrons, like this powerful cosmic collective of energy just within ourselves. Like us alone, the energy that we hold, the energy that we carry is extremely powerful. And so the times that we came to the earth was to really get to work with the human body and to be able to master the energetic centers of the human, the body, the blood, the everything that the human is, the human design, right? And so we had to work with this, get familiar with this, and really start anchoring the divine frequencies and merge them, divine union within ourselves. Wow, that is amazing. Oh my god. And that's why in my personal experience, I always found it extremely difficult just to live a normal life and to be a normal human. So it makes sense now. But yeah, so the feminine is really the one that is holding the key for the masculine to remember and to really start embracing his cosmic, his divine essence. And I think that is very beautiful. And so not only did this feminine master galactic lifetimes and frequencies, she also mastered what it means to be human. So that's what I just said. And now she embodies the human to remind the masculine his truth, his galactic divine origins. And again, this is because the masculine is trapped in the karmic, and the masculine is no less than the feminine. What we are doing here is we are reminding the masculine how powerful he is. He knows it. He knows deep within his soul how powerful and how magical, how divine he is. But it is the conditioning of the human, of society, that has maintained that masculine trapped in his karmic past. And in Atlantis, the masculine energy is the one that really got hit. and he is really having to do a lot of healing. And it makes me very emotional because he's been struggling, and the feminine is just here to nurture the masculine and to show them the light that exists within them. We are a reflection of their light, of their divinity. I also want to share this other vision that I had, and I've shared this before about the meeting that took place in the Pleiades with a lot of light beings and beings, souls from other dimensional planes and other star systems. But I do remember that when I was told that I needed to come to the earth, I didn't want to because I knew what it meant. But when this other being, the leader, came up to me and he was like, you have to go. You have to go. You need to be on earth. And that always stood out to me, that he said that there was a specific reason that I needed to be here. And so that's also something that I was reminded of today. And it's like, wow. So maybe one of the biggest reasons was to help the masculine break out of this karmic cycle. Not just my masculine, but the masculine energy in general. And I've been doing that within my own masculine energy, empowering myself and nurturing that masculine within myself to really liberate that energy and merge it with my own feminine energy. And so it's really this information, I know it's a lot and maybe it may sound crazy, but I feel it deep in my soul that there is truth to this, and it makes sense. It really makes sense for me, for my own experiences, the things that I've gone through, and just the way I've lived my life, my entire life. And just to have these messages showing up now, that I'm really standing in my power and really connecting to my psychic abilities and psychic awareness. We are here to serve more than one purpose. We have a bigger mission, right? But the twin flame connection is a good part of this mission. And a lot of us, I do believe that the beings that were connected in some way in Atlantis, the twins, we do have a big mission together, and it is to clear, to heal the wounds of the Atlantean, of the fall of Atlantis. And yeah, that's amazing. So if you do have any experiences or resonate with this, please let me know, because it's incredible to me. It's so amazing. So, and I do feel a lot shifting, and a lot is about to happen.